Those panels are coming down. I don't care what you think your deed says. This is my community, and nothing goes on any roof in this neighborhood without my board's approval. Nothing. I am not a member of your HOA. You have no jurisdiction over my property. I don't need jurisdiction. I need compliance. Homeowners Association President Margaret Kensington showed up at the front door of 8214 Maplewood. Doctor told the homeowner that his refusal to join the Whispering Pines, HOA, had resulted in $5,500 in accumulated violation fines against his deed. That a lien had been filed with the county recorder's office, and that the board had exhausted every reasonable option and would be taking further action to compel his compliance before the end of the month. She said further action like it was a standard administrative procedure. What she didn't know was that the homeowner had never signed a mandatory HOA covenant, that every fine she had issued against a non-member was legally void from the moment it was printed, that the fraudulent disconnection order she had submitted to the utility company was already being traced back to her by investigators, and that the solar panels she was preparing to fine him for were protected under state law in a way that was going to add 3 more charges to a criminal case that was already building faster than she could manage. Arthur Gallagher, 42, a commercial real estate attorney based out of Dallas, had closed on his property at 8214 Maplewood Drive in the Whispering Pines gated community of Plano, Texas, 14 months before any of this started. Whispering Pines sat in Collin County, an upscale neighborhood where the entrance had a staff security booth. The home started at over $1 million, and the tree-lined streets gave the impression of a community that ran itself on professionalism and mutual respect. Arthur had bought the property after a decade of renting while building his practice, and had chosen it specifically because the deed he reviewed at closing contained no mandatory HOA covenant. He was a real estate attorney. He read every page of every document before he signed anything. The absence of a mandatory covenant was not an oversight. It was a factor in his decision to buy. He received the first HOA welcome packet in his mailbox 3 weeks after moving in. It included a membership application, a schedule of annual dues, and a letter from Margaret Kensington introducing herself as HOA president of Whispering Pines and expressing her expectation that he would complete and return the application within 30 days. Arthur set the packet on his kitchen counter, pulled out his closing documents, confirmed once again that his deed contained no mandatory membership obligation, and drafted a polite but unambiguous reply explaining that he would not be joining the HOA and had no legal obligation to do so. Margaret Kensington, 55, had been HOA president of Whispering Pines for 9 consecutive years and had never once encountered a homeowner who had read their own deed carefully enough to decline membership on legal grounds. She had assumed Arthur's refusal was ignorance or arrogance and had responded to his letter with a second membership application and a note explaining that participation was expected of all residents in the community. Arthur replied with a relevant section of his deed and the Texas Property Code provision that confirmed voluntary HOA membership could not be compelled without a recorded covenant. Margaret received that letter and did not respond to it. She filed a violation notice instead. Arthur added it to a folder he had already started. Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where you're tuning in from. And if you believe that a homeowner who never signed an HOA covenant owes that HOA absolutely nothing, hit that like and subscribe button and join us here on HOA Conflicts. The violation notices came in waves after that. The first cited Arthur's front landscaping as non-compliant with Whispering Pines' strict aesthetic standards. The second cited his outdoor lighting as an unapproved modification. The third cited his vehicle as improperly positioned in his driveway. None of them had any legal basis against a non-member, and Arthur knew it. He photographed every notice, logged every date, and forwarded each one to his own legal files without paying $1 of any of them. Margaret escalated her correspondence. Through the winter, referencing lien proceedings, foreclosure threats, and board resolutions that had no authority over a homeowner who had never signed a membership agreement. Arthur responded to each letter with the same two documents, his deed and the relevant Texas Property Code section. Margaret stopped responding to his replies and started filing more notices instead. By the end of the year, the accumulated balance she claimed against his deed had reached $5,500. And she had begun copying the county recorder's office on her correspondence as though a lien filing was already in progress. Then one evening in February, Arthur came home from his office in Dallas and found his house completely dark, not a power outage. His neighbors on both sides had lights on, just his house. He called Apex Energy Solutions and was told after a long hold that a disconnection order had been processed against his address, citing an unresolved compliance issue with the property. The representative could not tell him who had submitted the order. Arthur asked for a supervisor. The supervisor told him the order had come through a third-party management account, and that restoring service would require a formal reinstatement request that could take 3 to 5 business days to process. Arthur sat in his dark house that night with his laptop running on battery and ordered a complete solar panel system before midnight. He had it professionally installed within 10 days. The house was fully powered again before Margaret had any idea what he had done. He also called his attorney the morning after the disconnection and asked him to begin a formal investigation into how the order had been submitted and who had authorized it. He called him back within 48 hours with an answer that surprised neither of them. Arthur's attorney, a utilities and property law specialist named Julian Hayes, based out of Dallas, traced the disconnection order to a third-party property management account that had been opened using Whispering Pines' HOA credentials. The account had been used on a single occasion to submit a fraudulent compliance disconnection request against 8214 Maplewood Drive. The request had cited an unresolved HOA violation as the basis for the disconnection. Apex's compliance team confirmed that the documentation submitted with the request had included what appeared to be a forged signature on a property management authorization form. Julian forwarded the full findings to the Collin County District Attorney's Office and the Texas Public Utility Commission the same afternoon. Then Margaret saw the solar panels. She filed a violation notice against Arthur's property within 4 days of the installation, citing the panels as an unapproved structural modification under Whispering Pines architectural standards and attaching a $3,000 fine to his deed. She delivered the notice in person and told Arthur directly that the panels were an eyesore that violated the community's aesthetic standards and that he had 14 days to have them removed. Arthur looked at the notice. Then he looked at Margaret. Then he told her 3 things in the following order: that his deed contained no HOA covenant, making the fine legally void; that the Texas Property Code Section 202.010 specifically prohibited HOA restrictions on solar panel installations on residential property; and that the utility fraud investigation that had been opened against her the previous week now had a second exhibit to work with. Margaret's expression did not change immediately. She asked him what investigation. Arthur told her to check her email and close the door. Julian filed the civil lawsuit in Collin County District Court the following morning, naming Margaret personally and the Whispering Pines HOA board collectively. The criminal referral to the Collin County DA's office was already active. Apex Energy had frozen the third-party management account and was cooperating fully with investigators. The forged authorization form had Margaret's fingerprints on it in more ways than one. The Collin County District Attorney's Office filed criminal charges against Margaret Kensington on 3 counts: utility fraud under Texas Penal Code 31.04, forgery of a legal document under Texas Penal Code 32.21, and fraudulent use of a third-party management account to obtain services under false pretenses. Each count carried its own sentencing range. And the combination of all three put her facing consequences that no HOA title in Collin County had ever protected anyone. From she hired a criminal defense attorney the same week the charges were filed. The retainer cost her $28,000. The civil lawsuit Julian had filed in Collin County District Court moved quickly, given the strength of the evidence. Every violation notice Margaret had issued against Arthur's deed was declared legally void, confirmed by the court as unenforceable against a homeowner with no mandatory HOA covenant. The solar panel fine was dismissed under Texas Property Code Section 202.010 in a single hearing that lasted less than 20 minutes. The fraudulent disconnection was addressed separately as the most serious element of the civil claim. The court found that Margaret had deliberately interfered with Arthur's utility service through forged documentation and awarded damages that covered the cost of the solar installation, his legal fees, and additional compensation for the sustained harassment campaign she had conducted against a non-member homeowner for over a year. The Whispering Pines HOA board removed Margaret from the presidency unanimously the day after the criminal charges were filed. They commissioned a full audit of every enforcement action she had taken during her 9-year tenure. And the audit found 11 other non-member homeowners in the subdivision who had received violation notices from Margaret despite having no mandatory covenant in their deeds. Every one of those notices was declared void. Several of those homeowners filed their own legal actions in the months that followed. Margaret Kensington entered a guilty plea on the utility fraud charge 8 months after the indictment and was sentenced to 2 years probation, significant financial restitution, and a permanent ban from serving in any HOA leadership role in the state of Texas. Arthur Gallagher kept the solar panels. His grid power was restored by Apex within 2 weeks of the investigation concluding, and he ran both systems simultaneously from that point forward. His electricity bill dropped to almost nothing. He never joined the HOA. If this story reminded you that reading your deed before you sign it is one of the most powerful things a homeowner can ever do, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you have ever been targeted by an HOA that had no legal authority over your property and did it anyway, drop your story in the comments because that story belongs on this channel. See you on the next one right here on HOA Conflicts. Subscribe now.